Hello, this is Dr. Ted with the 7th secret that you need to know to have a lifetime of fitness, and that's flexibility. One of the best ways to tell if you're getting old instead of just getting older is when you bend over and you're shuffling around and you're unable to be flexible or bend or stretch at all. You can't touch your toes, you can't touch your knees, you can't do sit-ups because you can't bend forward, you can't do anything that requires or that you have to exhibit any form of flexibility and thus strength. I love to play golf. And even though I'm 60 years old, I usually play with men older than me, or at least near my age, and who have one thing in common: they're not flexible. They can't hit the golf ball very far because they lost their flexibility, and that means they just lift the club back about halfway and then just sort of push it down, and it goes about 200 yards. When I step up and hit it 320 yards, they're always amazed, especially when I tell them I'm 63 years old. It's so funny to see their expression when I take my practice swings and rip the club around my body and twist it with such force and power. They only see themselves doing that in their teens and can't understand how anyone can be fit and that flexible at my age. It amazes me that anyone over 30 can not be as flexible as they are when they're 60. And most people start losing their flexibility in their 20s and 30s, and it's gone by their 40s. But when I ask them, what's my secret, I simply say, oh, I'll teach karate. And they go, oh, that's the secret. That's not the secret. But the fact is, I do teach karate, but that's not why I'm flexible, not why they're not flexible. The reason I'm flexible is that I know the secrets of flexibility and they do not. And I'm going to share some with you right now. I think there are 5 secrets to being flexible and staying flexible for life. Number 1, you have to do some type of stretching every day. Your muscles, your ligaments, your tendons get tight if you don't work out them every day to keep them loose. It's like not driving a car for a long time. If you let the car sit, the sludge builds up, the engine starts rusting, the grease joints start tightening up, and it starts drying up. You need to keep a car moving and using it to keep the grease loose and to keep the oil clean, to keep the car running smooth. Your body is just like the car. When you don't stretch your joints, the oil in your joints gets old and dry and the ligaments and tendons get tight. You have to do some form of stretching daily to keep your parts lubricated on your body and to keep your tendons and ligaments loose. Second tip of stretching: stretch before and after you do your daily exercise program. Too many people make the mistake of not warming up before they start their exercise program. That's like starting a car on a cold day and immediately pushing the pedal all the way down and taking off as fast as you can. Most people have done this, find out that their car breaks down pretty quickly. The oil hasn't gotten warm enough to lubricate the engine, and so when they gun the car, it's not lubricated and the parts tend to wear out much faster. Your body is the same way. You have to warm up the oil in your body to get your joints moving and to get the blood flowing and to get the muscles relaxed and let them get the nourishment they need to start loosening up. If you immediately start running or exercising, the chances of tearing a muscle quickly are greatly increased. If you start your weight training immediately and try to lift heavy weights you've ever had, there's a great possibility that you'll tear your muscles and injure yourself. I would say try it and see it, but that would be encouraging you to hurt yourself to prove my point. I prefer to say don't ever try it. Don't ever exercise without warming up. And you'll find out very quickly on your own that that's the best thing to do. It's just as important to stretch after you exercise too. Too many people don't realize this and they just stop exercising and go to the showers. Well, this leads to a loss of flexibility and it greatly increases the buildup of lactic acid, which makes them very sore the next day. Stretching after you exercise allows your body to cool down and your muscles to regain their suppleness, and especially if you've been working your legs or upper body. You will always be and feel more flexible the next day if you remember to spend a few minutes after you exercise doing some form of stretching to cool down. The third flexibility tip: keep your core strong. You can't be flexible without a strong core, without your abs and your back being strong, not weak and wormy. You have to have a strong back to be flexible because you do most of your stretches, you're putting a lot of strain on your back. And if it's not strong, you don't have the core to do your stretches properly. It's the same thing with the abs. Your abs support your body just as much as your back. If your abs are flabby or weak and fat, you simply won't be able to bend over and do the stretches because your fat stomach will be in the way. The fourth tip: stretch with a partner or an apparatus if you can't find a partner. Stretching with a partner always is beneficial because it allows you to get deeper and more extensive stretches than by stretching alone. and provides additional resistance to force you to stretch a little bit further and to hold it there. I always like to stretch with a partner when I can because it allows me to get a deeper stretch and to improve my flexibility. If you don't have a partner, you can use a stretching bar or a wall or a table or a rope or a stretch tube or any apparatus that will allow you to put your legs up and hold them there to use your body weight to help force the stretch. And the fifth tip is stretch whenever you can. You can stretch when you're in line at a grocery store or at the movies. You can stretch while you're sitting in a computer, while you're riding in a car. You can stretch sitting in a chair. You can stretch on a couch. You can stretch just about anywhere, anytime. So there never is any good reason to not do some form of stretching daily. You have 24 hours and you only need to stretch 5 to 10 minutes a day to stay flexible for life. If you remember that, you can stretch anywhere, anytime. You will certainly find the time that you need to keep yourself flexible. I have a great book on flexibility, and I show hundreds of stretches that you can do no matter what your present physical age or condition. You can get more information on that at my website, tedgambardella.com. Getting older does not mean you have to lose your flexibility. It does mean you have to actually do some daily stretching to keep it. When you're young, your body is in constant movement, and most people don't sit at a desk for 12 hours a day like they do when they get older. When they're running, they're jumping, they're constantly on the move. This gets their muscles loose and helps them with their flexibility. When they get into their 30s and 40s and 50s and they sit at a desk all day and watch TV all night, they lose their flexibility. And they don't even bother to make the correlation that one of the reasons they lost their flexibility is because they're not doing anything to keep it. You can and should stay flexible for life. All you have to do is follow the 5 steps I just told you. You will immediately find an increase in your flexibility, and you can and should be flexible for life. This is Dr. Ted. I'll see you next time.